Greetings, dear Aquarius. Welcome to Tifa's Tarot, and I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. And today we're going to go ahead and take a look at your yearly 2024 yearly predictions. So this particular reading, if you'd like to just take a note paper and some pen and just kind of jot down what your yearly predictions will be, okay? And what we are doing for this particular reading is we are going to use the Oracle of the Radiant Sun, right? Which is basically an astrological cards that have come out that talk about different energies that are associated with not only the planets, but those planets in association with the zodiacs as well, right? So we're going to be taking a look at what astrological energy is going to be affecting you for this year, and we're going to do it month by month. So we'll do 12 cards that I've already meditated on, so I've already pulled them, and then we're going to clarify that energy with some tarot. So I have selected the Gilded Royale tarot to pull to give more depth to your astrological messages, okay? So if you are an Aquarius and it is in your sun, your moon, or your rising, then it is my sincerest intention that this reading resonate with you in some capacity and that you are able to take these messages and apply them to your own life, of course, always for your highest good. Okay. With that being said, let's go ahead and look at your January. So coming up in January, the prominent astrological message for you comes out to be the Mars in Cancer. Okay, so you're starting your year off with this Mars in Cancer. And this card is associated with quarreling, right? Which is arguments. So what I see, because it's in Cancer, first let's talk about Mars. So Martian energy is associated with how we direct our energy, right, in a physical way. When are we physical? Are we emotional? Are we spiritual? Do we think critically? Is it mind wise? How do we assert ourselves, right? So when a Mars in Cancer shows up, that tells me that there could be issues with family unrest or things happening that are problematic in your home space, right? And because it's in Mars, that Mars is a very aggressive energy, so it could be associated with this kind of moodiness that just causes a general unrest somehow. Okay, let's see. Let's clarify that though. Let's clarify this Mars, this Cancer Mars for Aquarius. Okay, Nine of Wands. It's something that you've been dealing with maybe for some time. Maybe you're going into the year with it. But the Nine of Wands is activating this feeling of like you're just kind of, you've been going through something for a long time and you're a little bit done with it. You don't really have much to give to the situation much longer, right? And you're kind of standing your ground, but whatever it is, like you've grown a little bit tired of this issue, okay? This is not new. This is something that has followed you from last year or maybe even previous, right? Let's see. Okay. Five of Wands. Five of Wands. What's happening in this picture? They are fighting. Five of Wands is all about, this is why I love tarot, because it just really complements or confirms a lot of things as well. So that Five of Wands energy is competition, it's jealousy, it's too many cooks in the kitchen, right? It's too many people wanting to assert themselves, like everybody wanting to be the leader, but nobody wants to follow, okay? So I'm seeing that, and this could be a domestic situation too, so maybe someone you're married to if you are in a marriage, right? Because you've got the Justice here. But this is also about like fighting about what is fair, okay? And it's like you're standing your ground in this, and you're tired of kind of going through it, but you do enter the year with some issues that are kind of surrounding your family or your home life in some way, okay? And there could just be a little bit of an unrest when it comes into that. And yeah, not a great way to start the year. But let's go ahead and look at your February, okay? So Aquarius, this is traditionally your part of the year. And you got for February the energy of Mercury in Pisces, right? Which is associated with inspiration. But Mercury in Pisces is also about being very understanding in the way that you communicate, being very understanding of other people, and kind of using this inspiration or this dreamlike mentality that you have, right? Because when we talk about Mercury, Mercury is the planet of communication, right? It's a very fast moving planet. It's how we communicate. So I see you go into February with a new approach of how to communicate in a more authentic, emotional way, right? Because Pisces is a water sign that requires you to kind of go within and to be a little bit in a dream-like state in order to get your point across, okay? But I see that as being dominant with you because it's something that you're needing to utilize at this period of time, okay? Let's go ahead and clarify that. Let's clarify. We get the Five of Cups, okay? So Five of Cups is about mourning of something. It's about disappointments. It's about being let down in some capacity. It's grieving. Okay. And you got the Nine of Cups is in the reverse position. Okay, so not great energy. That Nine of Cups is like self-doubt. Could also be a drinking problem as well. Making sure that you're not using substances, because one thing that's concerning about this Mercury in Pisces, if you are using and abusing substances, that can be detrimental to your thought process. Then what could eventually happen is like you end up like causing a chemical imbalance in yourself where it makes you a little bit delusional, or perhaps even messing up with your serotonin, your dopamine receptors, where you get even depressed in some way, right? Where you start like grieving things or just not feeling like very optimal, like you don't have a very optimistic point of view. So I will be very careful in February when it comes to like indulging in things, because you don't want to be using substances to dull something instead of like facing what the reality or what the situation is, okay? And so you could be coming across as very sympathetic, but maybe it's because you're drowning out part of who you are, okay? So be very wary of that for the month of February. So going into March, you've got Venus in Capricorn, which talks about convention, okay? So Venus is the planet kind of love. It's our domestic life. It's our domestic partnerships, right? It's who we choose, is how we have relationships with other people. So with that being in Capricorn, it's like you are, a Venus in Capricorn is like the expression of love through those conventional manners, okay? It's like being dutiful in the home front or in your relationships. It could also indicate some like romantic liaisons between someone you have an age gap with as well. But there's something about the convention of how you can, the convention of relationships, like marriages, as a standard or as a theme in the month of March, okay? Let's go ahead and clarify that. Okay, Three of Pentacles. Okay, so I see that in March, this convention, say that if you're in a marriage or you're in a long-term partnership with somebody, with that Three of Pentacles, it shows that like there is what's being highlighted is this cooperation that you have to have with this person, and understanding even if in the past you've had these issues, this drama, but at the end of the day, it's like, nah, this is my person. Like I'm giving to this person, they're giving to me. And there is a feeling of just being more collaborative, right? And highlighting that, being cooperative in some way. Okay, and you got the Six of Cups. So this is someone you definitely have a long-term relationship with, someone who's part of your past. This can even have something to do with your children as well, because the Six of Cups has to do with kids. Your kids and specifically, or someone that you have a very long emotional connection to, okay? So that could look like in the month of March, you are working together with your partner, and if you guys have kids together, you're singing about your kids. It's like you have the responsibility of a commitment to adhere to, right? And you're respecting the convention of what your relationships are and what your responsibilities are in those relationships, okay? So I see that being highlighted for your month of March, right? So we've just entered spring season. We're going to continue into spring, and let's move to April. In April, you've got the sun in Leo. Okay, so this will be the energy that you're being infected with, okay? It'll be the sun in Leo. So sun energy is kind of our dominant energy. It's like it's the energy that we are projecting outwardly, right? Because what the sun does, right, is it shines its light and it exposes things, right? You can't hide underneath the sun. So with that sun in Leo, Leo is a very gregarious sign that has to do with children, that has to do with being fortunate, that has to do with being in the center of attention in some way. And so it also has to do with like love affairs too, because Leo, that sign of Leo, that sun sign of Leo is very prone to like extramarital affairs, or just like having, or just affairs in general. You're just like having fun and like doing what you want that makes that is fun for you. It's like almost like there's a game playing element during this season. So something in April that's happening to you, you could be at the center of attention. You could be really like kind of feeling yourself in April with that sun in Leo, right? Feeling very fortunate. Okay, let's go ahead and clarify that. Okay, the Four Swords. Okay, so this could have been maybe you're having a good time after a period of contemplation. You're just like, yeah, it's okay. Like I've been hiding for so long. Like I deserve to be out here, right? Whatever out here is for you. And you've also got the Ace of Wands. So I don't know if you get down and dirty, Aquarius, during the season, but the Ace of Wands is also like the sign of like relations in that way too. So maybe for some time, like you really haven't been getting it like you want to, and then things kind of after a hiatus, right? With this Four of Swords, you start getting busy again. Some passion enters the scene, right? And it puts you in the center of attention. And it's like this game playing. It's fun. It's flirty. It's, yeah. So that's good for you in April. Good for you. All right. Let's go ahead and look into May. So in the month of May, you have got the Jupiter in Pisces. Okay. So Jupiter is that big red planet. It is the planet of expansion. So when Jupiterian energy, it just expands or highlights whatever energy is associated with, or whatever sign that it's in, right? It makes it grander and bigger. But in addition to this, Jupiter also shows us the ways in which fortune is given to us, and the way that we can be fortunate, right? Because there's lots of ways to be fortunate. Be fortunate like body-wise. You can be fortunate mentally, intellectually. You can be fortunate physically, right? So there's lots of ways financially. There's lots of ways where fortune you could be abundant in, okay? So Jupiter talks about it's that planet of abundance. What do you have in excess of, okay? So for you, with Pisces with Jupiter in Pisces, okay, this indicates expansion via seduction. So you are very sensual, perhaps, like you're out, like the way you are projecting yourself is very sensual in some way. And so it could be like using that to kind of get what you want out of people. But it's like you're seeing that there's people are reacting to you, or maybe a person is reacting to you in such a way where they are very attracted to you. So, but like in the way that you seduce them, you're able to get what you need or what you want. Let's go ahead and clarify that. And that's very interesting coming right after your April, where it seems like you were getting down. 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups is that ultimate fulfillment. That's like I am at home and I am full. Like my cup runneth over on an emotional level. Like you just happy as a lark, right? When it comes to this. Okay. King of Pentacles. Okay, so there could be lots of financial security with this. And the Six of Swords. This is moving on. This is transitions, okay? So I feel like there's something you're utilizing. The way that you are able to grow in the month of May, it's going to have to do with, it's definitely something to do with like your life. It's not necessarily like your livelihood, because this could be you. You could have a lot to offer someone, or maybe there's someone around you who is very financially well off, all right? Or you're offering that to someone and you are ready to have a complete emotional fulfillment here, right? With that 10 of Cups, right? Where you are wading in that water and ready to make that transition here, okay? But being ready to make that transition, you're like utilizing your seductive powers, so to speak, okay? So that is very strong in your month of May, okay? Let's go ahead and go to June. So when we get to June, so we start the summer off. In June, you got the moon in Aquarius, okay? So that moon in Aquarius is like, the moon is how people who know us on a more intimate level see us or understand us to be, okay? So it's not like your projection to the world. It's like really who you are at your core. And so this dominant energy, when it comes to that moon in Aquarius, is very independent, okay? So independence is the key here. But in addition to that, it's like doing things your own way, right? It's being very like mentally astute. It's not following the trends. It's like doing things that just make sense to you, and being your own leader, not having to really follow anybody or anything, like having your own sense of everything. It's like you don't need to be a part of a group. You don't need anyone to justify anything that you're doing. It's like you and you alone are your own authority figure, right? When it comes to how you live your life, what you believe in, what you indulge in, everything, okay? So let's clarify this independent energy with this moon in Aquarius for you. Show me this moon in Aquarius energy. Okay. So you've got associations here. There's something in the month of June where you going out, having fun, whether it's on dates, whether it's casual associations with people, is really you're gonna be having a lot of associations during this time, where you could be invited to a lot of gatherings perhaps during June, okay? And it's like your options are unlimited, okay? You have so many, like 7 of Cups is about, there's no limit to options. It's like you could be being invited out to a lot of places, and you might have so many invitations around this time that you just like have to independently choose to either go to none or all. But it's like you are not allowing people to kind of sway you in any direction, okay? So I feel that June is going to be a very busy month, but instead of you going where everyone else is going, you're just going to be perhaps doing your own thing and deciding to only give energy to things that you choose to, okay? So that's how I see your June going. So let's talk about July. So in July gets a little serious, okay? Because you get the, this is Saturn in Libra, okay? Saturn is the way in which we are, Saturn, what we call is like father time, okay? So Saturn is the way in which we structure ourselves, okay? It's the way in which we find our limitations. So it limits us in some ways, is understanding that not all is possible. It's like kind of the opposite of Jupiter, where Jupiter is the expansive thinking. Saturn is about like, well, what are my limitations? What are my boundaries that I have to abide in, right, at this time? So with Saturn in Libra talks about being, you really needing to be careful not to really, because the card is called devotion, okay? So you could be promising a lot to a lot of people, right, by the time July comes around, and maybe there's a tendency for you to overcommit yourself, because it's like you want to say yes to everything. And perhaps that month previous, when you were on that independent energy, it's very possible you get flack for that, right? So that Saturn in Libra comes and you realize, okay, like I actually do have to show people that I care. but then you overcommit yourself. And it just becomes like, now you're stressing yourself out because now you can't even, it's like double booking things. Like you physically cannot be in two places at one time. So there is a tendency for you to do that at this time where you're just trying to be so fair and just trying to give everyone equal attention, and is just not possible. Okay, but let's clarify that. Okay. So the Chariot, yeah. So the Chariot talks about will and direction, and then the Nine of Swords, because you are stressed about this. Nine of Swords, see how she kept up? Look at her. She all stressed out. You might have had arguments with people, bad words were spoken to you, things that are kind of keeping you up at night, right? And it's like you have to make a choice about a direction that you want to go in. Like, how do you want to be perceived? Do you just want to be solo dolo and do your own thing and not care what anybody thinks? Or do you really care about people and being part of the collective community and doing what it takes to do that? And even if that means extending yourself in situations and there's times that you don't want to, right? So you are taking a decisive direction, right? And that direction is going to be I think like orchestrated by the stress that comes around with you overcommitting yourself. But like I said, something tells me that it has something to do with the previous energy of your June, where you were just independently thinking, not focused on anyone else besides yourself, and you maybe have upset some people that you actually do care about. Okay, so that looks like a very strong possibility for June and July. Now let's get into your August. So now we're deep into the summer. Okay. And August finds you in the moon in Scorpio. All right. So like I said, moon energy is very internal, right? It's how we are living our lives on a subconscious level. So with that Mars in Scorpio, that could indicate a secrets being revealed somehow, but also inheritance, right? There's some very strong emotions that are happening when it's moon in Aquarius. Moon in Scorpio, because moon in Scorpio has very intense underloving, like whatever you're feeling about something at this time, it's like you love it so much. You hate it, it's like you want to like if you're indifferent, you could care less. Okay, so with that moon, let's see what this moon in Scorpio talks about for you. What is this moon in Scorpio for Aquarius? Okay, Two of Pentacles in reverse, which is about losing balance of things in your life, right? Not having things are out of whack. Yeah. And you've got to really, you're sitting here and you got your thinking cap on during this time, right? That Queen of Swords is, that Queen of Swords ultimate goal is to balance what the heart wants and what the head thinks, right? To make like the best decisions that you need to make, right? And it's like there's something in your life that's out of balance during this period and is causing very strong internal emotions, right? Because that Two of Pentacles is about something is getting messed up. Your relationships are getting messed up. Your money's getting messed up. Something is just not, and something has kind of shifted where it's like you had control over things, and it's like there is a sense of control not necessarily like being prevalent anymore. Okay. And you're really thinking about how to get this together, right? But you're feeling very strong about it. It's really affecting you on an emotional level during August, right? So what happens in September kind of makes sense. What happens in September is you get kind of egotistical, right? Because you go straight into a Mars and Leo. So remember, Mars is the way that we assert ourselves. It's the way in how we find how we are aggressive. How do we get the things that we want in life, right? Is what Mars is. So when Mars is in Leo, it actually talks about egotism, right? So this could look like bullyish tendencies where you start shaming people. You get very egocentric around this time. It's like people have pushed you to just feel like, okay, I could just care about myself. I can't care about all of y'all. I could just care about me. So it kind of seems like you go in this approach during the month of September where people might even feel like you're being a little bit of a bully. So let's see what more this is in regards to. Definitely could have something to do with your lover or anyone that you are partnered up with, because you have the Lovers in the reverse position. You also got the Knight of Swords, meaning you are just hastily doing things, right? You're being very hasty. You're just doing it just to be doing it. And you got the High Priestess also in reverse. You're not acting on your intuition. You're just doing things, and what's happening is that you are appearing to be very egocentric around this time. And it's going to have your relationships, all of your relationships. This is relationships with your loved ones, relationships with your coworkers, relationships with the mailman. I don't care, right? They are going to be out of order. They're not going to be balanced at this time because you're really just focusing on yourself in the month of September. So we move on to October. In October, we've got another Jupiterian energy here. This is Jupiter in Aquarius, okay? So you start, Jupiter is about being expansive, right? It's that expanding thing. So when it's in the sign of Aquarius, it's like, it's not practical in some way, but it's very innovative, right? So a Jupiter in Aquarius talks about growth, but is growth that's brought about due to unconventional thoughts, right? It's like it's solving an issue an issue that has a unique solution, right? But it's only a solution that has to be like catered towards what it is. You have to be innovative in the solutions that you're making at this time. Let's see what it's in regards to. Okay. Perhaps about the ending. We got the World card here. The ending of conflict. You want to bring an end to conflicts here that you've been having. Conflicts in the way that you've been communicating, conflicts in the way that people have been perceiving your communication. You want to close that out, and you're coming up with creative approaches to do that, right? And I see there could be a good reason why you go into this energy in October, right? This Jupiter and Aquarius energy. All right. So let's look at November. So November, you've got the Sun in Scorpio. And ironically in November it will be, and the Sun will actually be in Scorpio. But you are really internalizing this Scorpion energy during the season, because it's like having the mental agility and that mental strength, and really exercising a lot of self-control. Could also be associations with other people's money, right, as well. But let's see what you are enduring, because that Sun in Scorpio is it has like this enduring quality. So let's see what that is. Right. You're being blocked with that 8 of Swords, right? And you got the Devil. Okay. You're finding it hard to not be toxic, it seems like, right? So when November rolls around, it's like you still have these very intense feelings of you just have intense emotions around this period. And it's like you are working through some of your personal issues, and self-control issues, but it's like you're blocked by toxic tendencies that you have with this Devil. I'm sorry to say it, but it is, right? And it's something that you got to do some work on that, right? If you are aware of those tendencies, you don't want them to exist anymore. And if you're listening to tarot and you're into astrology, you are for sure on some type of self-growth mission, right? So I encourage you. So anyone who is listening to this far, you already know these things about yourself, all right? Now, finally, you end the year in December 2024 with the Sun in Pisces, okay? So this is dealing with emotional depth, right? Dealing with that need to, the understanding of what it means to be sacrificial in some way. It also can talk about interest in the occult, or just like traveling, right? So it's like imagining things, but it's having a very active imagination, okay? And let's clarify that. Okay. 2 of Swords, all right? This is having a decision, making a decision to go left or to go right, to change or to stay the same. And the Knight of Wands, right? This is going towards what you're passionate about, okay? So making a decision about what actually makes you passionate, okay? So what I see for you is there's going to be a lot of lessons in how you deal with people in an emotional level, and I can see this happening in your home. I can see it happening at work. I can see it just happening in a lot of your relationships that you have with people. Your relationship with people is going to be in how you deal with people, and there's going to be a lot of lessons to learn this year in regards to what it means to exist as you, Aquarius, this year. And you're going to have a lot of highlights that would include some very big lessons about the way in which you treat people and the reactions that you get as a result of that. And what you do with them is going to totally be up to your free choice, obviously, to do what you wish, of course. But these are my predictions for you for the year of 2024. I don't know if this will resonate with anybody, but like I said in the beginning, it's very helpful to either bookmark this, maybe you can watch it at a later date in 2024 to kind of see if these things have come to fruition, or you've taken notes and you're able to get an accurate description of what to kind of look out for in terms of trends for this upcoming year. But Happy New Year, Aquarius. I wish you guys lots of love, light, good health, good wealth, and all of that jazz. And I hope you have a wonderful beginning of 2024. And I love you guys so much. Happy New Year.